Well, the Mark of a Leader is an effective speaking program that uses custom state-of-the-art multimedia technology to show audiences what it means to be a leader through its inspiring stories. We're joined live now by the creator of this program, Doug Keeley. He's standing by live at the TSX Broadcast Center. Good to see you, Doug.
Hi, Ann. How are you?
It's been a long time.
It has been a long time.
We grew up together, and I'm so glad to see that you're doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you. I'm having a great time.
Congratulations. Well,
thank you.
The Mark of a Leader. Tell me what inspired you to put this together and what makes it different than other, I guess, essential services like this to people who want to lead.
Well, I think the difference in the Mark of a Leader is that it's story-based, and I was inspired to do this by having a child 5 years ago, my first child, and I looked at the world and said, who are the role models these days supposed to be? And as I thought about that, having worked in corporate for many, many years, 25 years as a supplier to large corporations, I thought, who are the role models for people inside companies supposed to be these days? And not liking the answers I came up with, I decided to create it.
Give me some of the points that you think really resonate with the audience.
Well, the premise of what I do is it's all a story. My life, your life, our careers, every brand is a story. And I simply ask the question, what is the story that you're creating? And ultimately, what's the mark going to be of that story? And of course, in the world of business, the premise is that it's all about leadership. Every brand, every company, every business is about creating and sustaining leadership in their market. So I try and help people think in that way about what they're doing.
You know, I always thought it was all about making money, and that's a terribly crass thing for me to say, but hadn't really thought about the leadership aspect of this.
Well, I think the world's greatest brands are great stories. Apple, Starbucks, you know, the brands that jump to your mind have great stories first, and they make a lot of money because they are great stories rather than the other way around.
Now let's look at someone like Donald Trump, for instance. There's a leader who's had all kinds of problems, you know, and great successes as well. What do you think of him as a leader, and what do you learn from someone like that, and what do you say, no thanks, about someone like that?
Well, Donald Trump has certainly had his successes. He's not one of the role model leaders in my program.
Interesting.
But you know, to his credit, he number one believes passionately in brand, and he obviously has had some failures as well as successes. So I love that about him. I'm not a big fan of the you know, someone's got to win and someone has to lose model, the apprentice model. Yeah. And so I don't advocate that. Understood.
Who are some great leaders in this country when it comes to business, Doug?
Well, I think obviously the RIM team are great leaders. I think most of the Canadian branches of American companies are doing a great job. I do work with Starbucks and several other companies who have really found a way to bring the brand to life up here in Canada.
The Mark of a Leader, is that in order to find a good leader or to keep a person in a situation of leadership, but keep them vibrant?
Well, I think the message is ultimately the days of hierarchical leadership where that is the only thing that runs a company are gone. Every study out there in the market is saying that in a typical organization, 20% of the people are leading the company, 60% are just following wherever they go, and 20% shouldn't be there. They're slowing everything down. And my message is everyone can lead. It's not about hierarchy. It's about accountability and about doing things that you haven't done before, getting outside your comfort zone and trying new things.
There usually is, and you just sort of said this to the contrary, but there's usually one person who leads a little more than the others. Is there a problem with competition between those who are not quite the leaders but feel that they're leading?
Well, there can be problems with competition. I think on any great team, that competition sorts itself out in the interests of the team succeeding rather than the individual succeeding. But ultimately, yes, there are going to be issues amongst individuals.
So tell me how the Mark of a Leader has worked, and give me a success story.
Well, I think there are several, but I think what the Mark of a Leader ultimately hopes to do is to go inside organizations and tell stories first about people and brands outside the organization to get people thinking about their story, and ultimately my goal is to migrate the stories so that they're about people inside the organization.
And the use of the custom state-of-the-art multimedia technology, we love that. What does that really mean?
Well, in the event business, in the conference business, the traditional model is bring in a guest speaker who comes in for an hour and talks at the end of a conference, which is great, except that usually by that time people have been beaten to death by PowerPoint for a day and a half. So our model uses a lot of video and original music and state-of-the-art graphics, which is a much more compelling way to communicate to people. And that's how we're all trained to look and think these days.
Doug Keeley, what a pleasure to see you. Please say hello to your sister Kathy. We worked together for so many years. It's great to see you. All the best.
Thanks, Anne. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.